Guys, you want to know what disappointed me the most about this movie? Is when it ended, I sat there and realized, oh great, there's going to be 2 more of these. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, yes, I went to the movies this weekend. It's Valentine's Day today, actually, and I saw this movie over Kingsman: The Secret Service. And I know I'm probably going to lose my entire reputation, but let me defend myself. But yeah, the movie I'm going to be reviewing today is this. What's the name again? Oh yeah, 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, that's it. That's never mind. 50 Shades of Grey, the movie that has been getting a lot of controversy. It was based off a book series that was made into 3 books and apparently made 10 million copies. However, I hear nothing but terrible, god-awful things about how bad the books are. And I hear that like a high schooler could have done it better or something. They must be pretty bad then. So now we have a movie, of course. And yes, I decided to see this over Kingsman: The Secret Service, but I'll tell you why. Because I had without a doubt, I had a feeling in me that this movie was not going to be great, and therefore I picked to see the bad movie that, you know, maybe could have had some potential, but obviously I had a feeling it wasn't going to be that great. And so therefore I could review it and get the word out there that, okay, listen guys, this movie doesn't look that great. So I honestly wasn't looking forward to seeing either movies. I wasn't looking forward to this, and I wasn't even looking forward to Kingsman, but I chose this, and yeah, great. Now I'm reviewing this movie, if that's what you can call it. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the review, guys. Yeah, I have a feeling this movie is going to make a killing this weekend, as if the author doesn't have enough money as it is. But because it was marketed as a romantic movie. And all the couples are going to go out and see this movie today, Valentine's Day. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, getting into the movie itself, 50 Shades of Grey. Again, I have not read the book, so I'm not going to give my opinions on the books. I am looking at this film simply as a movie. And I also ask you guys again, please do not lose your respect for me. I did this for you, okay? So say thank you in the comments. Tell me, say thank you, Mike. Thank you. I'm kidding. You guys don't have to. I love reviewing and talking about movies. That's why I do this. Anyway, 50 Shades of Grey is about a young, wealthy, 27-year-old billionaire named Christian Grey. And it's really not clear as to why he is a billionaire. He's just a billionaire. That's all you need to know. And he meets young Anastasia Steele. Great names in this movie. And she's played by Dakota Johnson. He's played by Jamie Dornan. And she has to interview him for one of her friends for college or something. She's just about ready to graduate once the film begins. So she meets Christian Grey and interviews him in one of the most awkward interview type things I've ever seen in my entire life. And she obviously feels some sort of attraction to him when she meets him. He's very gorgeous, according to her. And however, the one thing that like steers her off, yeah, he's a little intimidating, which, how many times, I want to count how many times they use that word in this movie. Oh, he's so intimidating. Oh, that's very intimidating. Pick another word. Okay, and I'm using it now because I can't get it out of my head. So she sees this in him and she realizes, you know, maybe I want to do something with this guy. And, you know, she wants to maybe start like some sort of relationship with him or something, you know, where they go on dates and everything. But he's not about that. He's sort of like, he enjoys being the guy in power, being the one in power. And being in control of everything, and he doesn't want a forward relationship with romance. He has interests that rely on bondage and BDSM and sexual abuse pretty much, and just sex. He doesn't want all that love and romance type thing. And that, my friends, is the story behind 50 Shades of Grey. Now, every review or any negative review that I heard about this movie going in, everyone but was saying that, you know, everybody was just giving it terrible reviews, ripping into the movie for, like, what it was saying about men and women and, you know, how they look at this type of, like, sexual pleasure or whatever. And I gotta give this movie one thing. I'm gonna give this movie one thing right now. At least it has a storyline that I haven't seen done before in a film. Did they do it correctly? No, because I didn't give a crap for most of these characters or for the writing because of how terribly and laughably bad it is. But I gotta give them credit for at least trying to do something different with this genre. It's not even it's not a romance film though, guys. So don't go into this movie with your date thinking, yeah, it's a romance movie. It's not. Okay? But as a drama, I haven't seen something like this. So when I make my worst list at the end of the year, this film will gladly be on it. You're not going to see this film on, like, as #1. You're going to see something like The Boy Next Door as #1, because that's a recycled piece of crap. This movie at least had the balls to be something different. I know it's based on a crappy book series, but what are you going to do? Okay, now problem #1 that I had with this movie is the marketing and the day or the weekend in which it was released. Of course, the marketing team decides to release this film on Valentine's Day weekend because it's gonna now make a shit ton of money, because it's gonna suck in all of these couples and all of these women who haven't read the books, because there are some that haven't, I guess, and they're going to watch the trailer and be like, oh, look at this guy, he's so gorgeous, he's so attractive, he's going to, you know, they're going to have a real relationship, you know, apart from this, all these interesting things they do in the bedroom and all that. But no, it's not that, guys, so do not, please, any guy, I will feel bad for any guy that gets dragged to go see this movie this weekend, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, no. If you read the books, just read the books before you go see the movie, and then don't see the movie. Just don't see it this weekend, because that's why it was released this weekend, and that angers me. It was released to make a killing at the box office, and it's going to, because it's Valentine's Day weekend, and all the couples want a romantic movie to go see, but it's not a romantic movie, and that's how they're marketing the movie as, and it annoys me. It irks me very much so. Now that I got that off my chest, oh, and by the way, I saw this movie by myself, big mistake. I asked for a ticket, I'm like, 1 for 50 Shades of Grey, and she's like, oh, just one? The cashier was just like, oh, just one? I'm so embarrassed, guys. I mean, this is what I do for you guys. I see these types of movies for you. I'm kidding, it's fine, I don't mind. But yeah, that happened. I had to tell you that little story. Anyway, honestly, guys, my real problems with this movie, not only is the acting wooden for the majority, and the chemistry just isn't there, apart from some of the actual sex scenes where the two are having sex, I mean, yeah, the chemistry's kind of there, sort of, but when they're conversing, just, no, it's not there at all. Honestly, what I think the biggest downfall of this movie is the writing, and, I hear a lot of people saying that are saying the movie's better than the book, but that means the book must be pretty damn bad, because the writing is, wow, it's so bad. And it's not the kind of bad where it's just so bad you can't have any enjoyment in it. It's the type of bad where it's so bad it's funny. So yeah, you do have a good time in the movie, and the movie is laughably bad, and I thankfully wasn't the only one who was laughing at some of the terrible, terrible lines of dialogue in this movie. My audience members, honestly, knew it was bad too, because I remember there's one line, I think it's like midway in the film, she's like, just out of the blue, just out of nowhere, it's like a quiet moment, just out of nowhere, Anastasia Steele says to Christian Grey, so are you going to make love to me now? Yeah, that's natural dialogue, but no. I guess the book must be really bad. So, yeah, I've established that, and that is why, honestly, 50 Shades of Grey does not work. It is filled with scene after scene of these awkward moments between these two people who are so different from each other, and this relationship is clearly not going to work out between the two of them, because one of them is very shy and quiet and just wants romance, and the other one just wants sexual pleasure, honestly, and wants his own needs to be satisfied. So in a way, you could look at him as kind of a jerk, and I know he's had a rough past, but how can you sympathize for him if they barely go into his past life. I'm sorry, they touched upon it, but not enough for me to say, okay, yeah, I understand why he's doing this. No, I don't understand why he's doing this, why he can't be a little lenient in the contract that he has. Why? Why does he have to be so uptight about all these different things? I don't know, it's just a disaster. Getting to the performances, wow. Dakota Johnson, she's been in minor roles. This is like her first big leading starring role. And I gotta say, the first few scenes, I'm like, don't tell me she's gonna be like this the whole movie. Quiet and shy and awkward and just, you know, like, you know, whispering and, it's just Anna. My name is just Anna. Don't do that to me. That's what I was saying as the movie progressed. But she honestly grows and definitely improved as the movie progressed, because she starts seeing this guy and she starts getting excited. You start seeing her opening up a little bit. So I'm like, thank goodness that her performance wasn't terrible throughout. Jamie Dornan, on the other hand, I don't know. He's this very stoic, very, you know, like hard-ass type guy. And some of his just, I don't know, it's just awkward between the two of them. The chemistry wasn't there. The sex scenes were fine. Very racy for an R-rated movie. Definitely pushing those boundaries. But the chemistry just isn't there when the two of them are conversing. It's just not. Early on in the film especially. It just doesn't work, honestly. So the performances really aren't that great. Jamie Dornan, what can I say? He was trying. He was okay. Not that great, honestly, to be honest. It's just awkward conversation and just very stoic, very poor-ish acting, honestly. Getting into my rating of 50 Shades of Grey, I do have a few redeeming things, other than the fact that this movie tries to be different from other romance movies, even though it's not a romance movie. I want to stress that to you couples out there. It's not a romance movie. It tries to be different. I'll give the movie that. I'll also give the movie the fact that it was actually well directed. Sam Taylor Johnson, a woman, directed the film, and I thought she did a very good job. The camera work was great, and I thought the cinematography was really good. I just think that she was given a terrible script to work with, and that's ultimately why the movie ended up failing for me, and why I think it's going to fail for a lot of other people, and why a lot of people are going to hate it. Because the script doesn't work, it's laughably bad, it's awkward, the characters, you do not sympathize or give a crap about any of the characters in this movie. Half of the secondary characters are irreplaceable, and they're just absolutely just there, just for the sake of being there, and you need other characters. I mean, he's a billionaire. Why is he a billionaire? Just flat out tell me why. I don't care if you have to make it so obvious as to the fact that you're explaining to the audience he's a billionaire. Why? Don't drop little hints as to make you say, oh, I don't know why he's a billionaire. I have no idea why he's a billionaire. Okay, I mean, it's just things like that that annoy me. In the end, guys, I'm going to give 50 Shades of Grey a 6.5 out of 10, or a grade of a D. It's not just so terrible, like so cringe-worthingly bad that you're going to have a terrible experience. I think you could go to this movie and laugh at how bad it is, which is one way I'll recommend it, but it's certainly not a movie I say you pay to see in the theaters. Rent it, please, or watch it online. It's not worth your money, honestly. It's just the writing. It's not good. So many scenes are just awkward. The first scene when she goes to meet him, she drops everything, she falls down, and it's just painfully awkward to watch. Okay, those scenes are painfully awkward. Then the movie just gets laughably funny in how some certain lines of dialogue are delivered from the performances that aren't that great, and how lines of dialogue just come in out of nowhere, just out of left field. And the fact that this guy the fact that this is a relationship that clearly isn't going to work, and it's a movie about sex. It's a movie that should be about sex and passion, but it's not about that, because one guy doesn't want that, the other person does want that, and they're clearly not going to work with each other. And there's no real progression in the story. It's just scene after scene of them going to some place or doing something to show that this guy is unbelievably wealthy or something like that. And then they go to dinner or something, or they meet a family, then they have sex. Okay, then they do something else. Then they have sex. Then they go to his playroom. His playroom. Okay, and then they have sex again. I mean, it's just repetitive beats, one after another, with no real progression in story or progression in characters. So that is why, ultimately, this film failed for me. And apart from the cinematography and the directing, which I thought was good and worked, this movie doesn't go anywhere. It's the script, it's the acting, it's the writing. It's the character development, which is poor, and yeah, that's why 50 Shades of Grey does not work. Don't see it this weekend with your date. Don't take someone to go see this movie. Please do something else for Valentine's Day. Go out to dinner. Go to a nice dinner. It's not worth it, and it's not a movie for couples. And again, it's being advertised as that to anyone who hasn't read the books, and that's why a bunch of people are going to see the movie. And that's why it's going to make a bunch of money. And now we have 2 more of these to deal with. Oh, and the ending, by the way. I thought the ending to The Maze Runner was just like, oh, here, we're throwing this ending at you to show that, oh, we're setting up for another movie. You know, that I hated the ending of The Maze Runner because they were like, yeah, we have another movie coming. Don't worry. Here, we'll tease to it in the ending of this movie. That's what 50 Shades of Grey kind of does. It's just one of those endings you're like, oh, great. Now we have another one of these to watch. Because clearly it's not over. Their story's not over. I'm done, guys. 6.5 out of 10. Not the worst movie I've seen this year so far, but it's not great. Don't see it. Just don't. Okay, go watch SpongeBob. All right, please. So that's all I have to say about 50 Shades of Grey, guys. No, it doesn't work. So, guys, what did you think of the movie? If you have seen it, let me know down below what you thought of it. And yeah, thanks for watching. But do yourself a favor and don't see it. Okay, and don't take a date to it because it's not worth it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.